Right, so there's been a couple of twists and turns in the Freestyler drama recently, and yeah, just a little update. This kind of all happened over the past few days. You probably saw my last video. If you haven't, then I'll probably advise you go watch that one first. But basically, there's a whole Freestyler drama, and it involves people freestyling at low casual MMR, and they've been getting banned for it because basically that's against the terms of service. My previous video, we sort of dived into like why this could be happening, and it's I went into the details of how Psyonix have recently implemented a new system that sort of catches people who are throwing matches and people who are like forfeiting games and stuff like that. So that's what I thought would have happened, but as it turns out, that there is actually more to this than meets the eye. So basically, there was a person on Twitter, and before we actually reveal who this person was, I need to point out, do not go and harass them on Twitter. Do not start giving them hate or anything, because one, it makes the freestyle community look awful, and they're already facing enough problems as it is right now. And two, it just gives this person more attention, more of a platform, and you're basically just spreading their message even more. So it's just not really worth it at all. So just don't give them hate and just let them be who they are, okay? But basically, this person called the Mr. Cupid, who's a Facebook gaming streamer, they basically tweeted out, they quote tweeted a tweet from Nitro Fades, who was hitting a very, very nice shot. It was in casual, and it was on players that are very, very low MMR. And that got a lot of attention on Twitter. It had hundreds of likes and lots of quote tweets and lots of retweets, etc. And that kind of sparked a lot of discussion. There were loads of replies to it and loads of people arguing about what's right and what's wrong, etc., etc. But apparently, that is what actually tipped Psyonix off to this Freestyler drama, because Psyonix actually released something on Reddit where this came from Devin, who's the community manager of Psyonix, and basically it says about how they've seen all the conversation over on Twitter, and there's a lot of stuff in general media about freestylers, and they basically wanted to just explain why these bans have been happening. So Devin starts off by saying about how they really do appreciate freestyling, they have worked with many freestyling communities, etc. But then they go on to say, however, showing off that mechanical prowess cannot disrupt the Rocket League experience for new or casual players, basically saying that they cannot violate the terms of service and they can't manipulate the matchmaking rating system. And then he goes on to say that the bans levied against these freestylers came after an investigation after multiple accounts and their behavior in casual playlists. These accounts were artificially keeping their MMR low, equivalent to that of a silver 1 player in competitive, via forfeiting matches and sometimes own goaling, which is kind of what I said in my previous video. That's probably what sort of tipped them off to it. And it probably did still have an element of that detection system that they've added in there. But then they'll go on to say that these players, they usually play at a competitive ranking of around Grand Champion 1, sometimes Grand Champion 2 in some cases as well, as I've seen that. But then one of the most damning parts of this is that it says some of the analysed matches showed that some of the accounts in question intentionally kept opponents in an overtime for up to 5 minutes of additional play. So that's basically just holding a casual or a new player hostage for the extra 5 minutes. And I know they could probably leave, but they shouldn't really be expected to, I don't think. And yeah, that was quite damning, I thought. Keeping somebody hostage for 5 minutes is a pretty rotten thing to do, especially considering they're probably not even able to touch the ball in those 5 minutes. And then they go on to say, casual playlists are meant to be enjoyed by all. Many players who play casual matches exclusively, and we are fully aware of that because the casual player base of Rocket League, I think, actually makes up the majority of Rocket League, because that's what it is for most games out there. It's quite a misunderstood part of gaming where casual players actually do make up the large portion of any player base in any game. And then it does say that while they've only taken action so far on a small number of accounts, they are working on a broader, better solution to apply to everyone. So it's a bit of a concern for freestylers at the moment. But he does go on to say that this is not the end of freestyling, and that they encourage freestyle communities to show off their skills against similarly skilled opponents in like private matches, etc. Which is kind of what I was suggesting, but I know that a lot of freestylers aren't really keen on doing that. They go on to like provide other examples of other parts of the game, like ranked hoops and ranked hockey league, etc., where they have dedicated communities where they sort of have their sort of matches, etc., that they can actually play along. Now, I put out a little suggestion on Twitter, which I was hopefully gonna get some positive feedback on, where I don't know if anybody is familiar with it, but there is a system known as six mans, which is like a sort of kind of alternative to ranked, and it's kind of what the pro scene uses as their kind of basis of who's at their skill level, etc. And basically you work your way up a six man's ladder where you've got like loads of different tiers of players, and like as you rank up, it's basically just an alternative of ranked, where you just get given a different sort of rank A, B, C, D, etc., like that. And I was wondering if that would be something that would be beneficial to freestylers, having something similar to that, where you can have like a community of people where you can kick off a queue in a Discord server and then have another freestyler join that queue, and then you can just play together, and you could have that in either 1v1s, 2v2s, whatever, just having these different queues kicked off, and then you can all sort of work together to try and line up really, really cool shots. And I think that's a really, really good solution personally, but I really want to get more and more feedback. So if there are any freestylers watching here, please head over to that tweet and give me what feedback you think of it. I'll link it in the description down below as well. You might ask, how might I know that this Facebook streamer is responsible for these things? Well, they've been not really shy about bragging about it on Twitter. They kind of are farming impressions as much as they can, and they're kind of going on a bit too much about it. However, one of the freestylers that was banned actually shared their messages with support where they were asking about why they were banned, and the response was that they were banned for smurfing or ranking in the casual playlist, and it was shown in the additional info section. They provided a tweet from Mr. Cupid, which is the Facebook streamer. So it seems as though that they had seen that tweet, and that's what sparked it all off. So as it turns out, it was that person who was kind of responsible for it, but like I said again, don't go giving them hate, because that doesn't help at all. Now, a lot of other freestylers have come out and said that they're just going to keep on doing it until they get banned, which is pretty stupid if you ask me. And there's like a load of other freestylers that have been sort of discussing other things and saying that some of the people have been saying, yep, we're just going to stop forfeiting matches, etc. We're just going to play them out as we would normally, and then they'll probably find out that they'll balance out at an MMR level where they probably will encounter a lot more freestylers together, and then they'll probably just sort of be at a level where the opponents are decent enough that they can actually assist them in helping set up shots because they'll be better players. And then they'll probably find out that it generally is a better playing experience. They might not be able to hit as cool shots in these things, but if they want to hit a really cool shot and they want to do something really, really fancy, then like I said, they've always got the free play or private matches, etc. like that. And I know they don't like that argument, but at this point, I don't think there's much else that can possibly be done about it. So I don't know. That's just basically the update that I've got from everything that's here. There's probably going to be more twists and turns in this drama because it seems to be going on and on and on. My Twitter notifications are non-stop at the moment, and they just keep going off. Every time I log into Twitter, I'm seeing a 20+ notifications thing because I've been involved in so many conversations about it. But yeah, it's really, really fascinating and seeing what's actually developing in this story. So let me know what your thoughts are, and yeah, we'll see if there's any more developments in this, and I will keep you updated if there is. But thanks very much for watching, and thanks for all the support on the last video because it really, really hit off very well. So we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you very much, and bye.